Hulk Hogan has been embroiled in a whole lot of sex tape drama over the past few days. I'm joined in studio by our sex and relationship columnist, Dorothy Black, and we're going to talk about how to make a sex tape. Hello.
Hey, things to consider about making a sex tape.
Yes, because right now Hulk Hogan finds himself in a whole lot of
A world of poo, I think, is what you're looking for.
a world of poo and a lot of emotional
Yeah.
and internal turmoil
Right.
over the sex tape, which he says he had no idea
He
existed.
had no idea. So, first things to consider when you want to make a sex tape, is everybody in on the story? Because if it's not consensual, if you're videotaping somebody and yourself having sex and they're not in it, that's kind of rapey, illegal,
And you must call the cops.
and we should be calling the cops. So don't do that. If you want to make a sex tape, everybody's got to be in on it. And something somebody pointed out to me, I like how we still call it a sex tape. Like we're going to take a little VHS and we're going to make one copy. No, no, no. We're now on SD Digital. You make a gazillion copies every time you take a picture of anything, especially if you're uploading to clouds automatically.
Yeah.
So the first thing to consider, obviously, is everybody on board? Are we all happy with why we're making the sex tape?
Does everyone want to make a sex
Does
tape?
everyone want to make it? Is everybody in the room happy with being filmed? And I suppose that leads directly onto the second one, which is like, why do you want to make the sex tape? Who is it for? Is it for you? Is it for your partner? Do you both want to make it? What do you want to get from it? Is it just a little bit of kinky fun? Do you want to go into like a whole lot of production? Is it for prosperity? Do you want to like watch it in 3 months' time or in 3 years' time? What is the vibe here? You know, because is it the case if we're just having a little bit of like nookie and we've got our camera and we're like, you know, jiggling it around, or is it a full-on production? And both of those come with a whole bunch of different considerations.
All right, so we should definitely make sure all parties involved
Yes.
know that they're involved.
Right.
We should make ourselves aware of the reasons that
Why
are
are we
behind,
doing it?
behind the sex
Right,
tape.
right, right.
What else should we consider?
Okay, so the other thing to remember is that I think a lot of people, you know, watching something is very erotic. A lot of us are very visual, and so we like seeing either pictures or ourselves. And then, you know, we like seeing ourselves do things. That's why we're always taking selfies. And so sex is no different. But I think we also base a lot of how we understand sex tapes as to what we see on porn. And pornography is a production. And so there are lights and there are angles and there's fluffing.
A lot of different takes.
There's a lot of different takes. So if you're going to want to go into a production of it, like a porn production, then understand you want to think about setting, you want to think about cameras, you want to think about angles. And let me tell you, porn productions do not take much pleasure into account. It's all about the angle and what you can see. So I don't really see this being like you and your honey having, you know, hugely intimate, amazing times. And then also, how are you filming this? I personally would not film it on a camera. I wouldn't film it on a smartphone, because then who owns that smartphone? What's happening with it? Does that person have it? Do you share it? What platform do you share it on? The minute you share it on a platform, it's kind of owned by the person who owns the platform. Is that person linked up to cloud? Is it suddenly going to be somewhere else? You need to think about like how much control over you have with that information. Personally, maybe have it all safe, buy a little digital camera, take a little thing, put it into a joint safety account. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. Maybe that's me, but I don't want to be Hulk Hogan.
That's very secure. You don't want to be Hulk Hogan, though, so you need to take these precautions.
Right. I mean, and tons of people have been burned again and again with stuff that they're making with their partner, whether it's a dirty video or pictures, and then it ends badly and in tears, and somebody's got that video, and then there it is. So I think part of that is also to discuss with yourself, like, how comfortable are you with this kind of information being out there? And then, of course, when you're filming, eyes are the prize. Are you going to go for the whole face? Are you going to put up masks? Are you going to have like something covering your face? Are you just going to do a little Woody Allen love movie with people touching each other's faces? You know, what's going to happen? Take into consideration how much of your body is going to be in the shot and how much you want to take responsibility for it when and if, maybe when, it eventually gets out and more than you and your lover see it. Because that is the reality. This is the reality. We're going to do it, but there are realities involved here.
What's the last thing we need to consider before taking the plunge and making a sex tape?
Do you trust your partner? You know, do you trust this person that you're making a sex tape with, that they're going to respect your information, that they're going to delete it if you break up, that they're going to delete it like they do? I've had ex-boyfriends who have told me that they have like hard drives full of like videos with them and their exes. always wanted to take a look, but fortunately they've been
Hard drives full.
hard drives. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. There's been a hard drive. It has had a folder full of X6 tapes. Right, yeah.
How did
So
that
I
make
think
you
it's
feel?
good. Well, we weren't very close. But I would think that's weird. And I've heard of people who then have X6 tapes that they watch, years after the fact. I think that's kind of weird. So do you trust your partner? What is your agreement on it? Are you going to delete it should you break up? And the one thing I always try to remind people of, if somebody doesn't respect you outside of the bedroom, if they don't respect what you say, if they don't listen to what you say, if they don't respect what you say, if they don't take consideration of it, they're not going to do it inside the bedroom. So if a guy treats you like poo outside of the bedroom and doesn't respect you, he's not suddenly going to turn into an angel when you make a sex tape together.